There are always many issues of great importance when it comes to elections, and that's why it's so important for us to exercise our civic duty as citizens of America and to vote for people who will truly serve our country and who will work to defend the most vulnerable among us. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I can and have a duty to speak about crucial issues that affect the lives of our people, the salvation of our souls, and the heart of this our great country. The second sentence of the Declaration of Independence states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." The first and most important right that every single human being should have is the right to life. And this right is being attacked in our world and especially in our country, maybe now more than it ever has been. People are losing their lives because of crime, injustice, racism, poverty, and many other things. And so, when voting for candidates who will hold the sacred duty of the office of government, we need to have all of these things in our consideration. We should vote for candidates who will protect people and who will make the quality of life the best possible for every single human person, no matter what their race is and no matter what they believe in. But among all the issues related to the right to life, there stands one in particular which is more important than all of the rest: abortion. The reasons are clearly stated by the USCCB in their document Forming Consciences for Faithful Citizenship, and they are: number 1, abortion directly attacks life itself. Number 2, it takes place within the sanctuary of the family. And number 3, because of the number of lives destroyed. On the first point, that abortion directly attacks life itself, it's important to realize that there are other issues at stake and they are very important when it comes to the quality of life. But abortion is not about the quality of life. It's about having life at all. So before talking about how to make life better for our citizens, why don't we talk first about making sure that every single citizen has the right to enter this world at all? The Catechism of the Catholic Church states, "Human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of its conception. From the first moment of its existence, a human being must be recognized as having the rights of a person, among which is the inviolable right of every innocent being to life." What basis does the Church have to say that life begins at conception? It's because science proves that life begins at conception or fertilization. That is the beginning of the growth and development of the human being, leading to birth, childhood, and adulthood. And so the question is, for those that argue life does not begin at conception, when does life begin and what determines what life is? Is it a heartbeat? Because a fetus has a heartbeat when it's just 6 weeks old. Is it when it's conscious? Because that's a stage of development that can change even after birth. Is it birth? Because that's just a change of location. At one point it's growing inside of its mother's womb, and at another point it's growing outside of its mother's womb. The fetus has its own DNA, growing organs, brainwave activity, a beating heart, and is very much alive. Science proves that life begins at conception, and we should definitely believe in the science. The second reason why ending abortion is our preeminent priority is because it takes place within the sanctuary of the family. Abortion destroys the beautiful and sacred bond of a parent and a child. Children are a gift from God, and God made it so that human beings are able to participate in the act of procreation. Abortion goes against God's plan for the development of life, and it directly attacks the family. People who support abortion will often say that those who oppose it take away the rights of a woman who should be able to do whatever she wants with her own body. But in the case of abortion, there is a body of another human being inside of the body of the woman, and that little body's rights should be respected and protected. There are those who claim that in many cases, the life of the child after birth would be very bad, and so women should have the opportunity to abort the child. But who are we to choose that? Before thinking about the quality of life, we should think first about the right to life itself, and then do our best to make sure that people live the best quality of life that is possible in this world. There are also many people who say that if a child is conceived in rape, that the mother should have the right to abort the child. Now, rape is a terrible, evil thing, but you don't solve one evil thing by doing another evil thing. The baby did not choose to be conceived like that, and he or she should not be punished. Our society should instead do more to help women who have been raped and their children, to work on the adoption system in our country, and to strengthen family values which are so vital to the success of our nation and our people. The third reason why ending abortion is the preeminent priority is because of the number of lives destroyed. Over 60 million babies have been aborted since 1973 when Roe v. Wade became the law of the land. Among these children were many who had disabilities and who were aborted simply for that reason, and this is a very sad reality. How many of those millions of babies aborted would have been great engineers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, politicians, priests, nuns, you name it? That's why we should have no more of this. We should speak up and we should make sure that those who are put into office defend the right to life. Many people say that it's okay to vote for candidates who support abortion, but whose policies might have a good effect on society to the point where women would get less abortions. But I want to offer a different perspective. Let's say somebody had great policies all around except for one thing. Let's say that they were a flat-out racist, and they supported the right for every human being to abuse other people just because of their race. Or if a candidate believed that it was okay for a parent to kill its toddler, would you vote for that person? No, because you would not support a candidate who supports murder. Abortion is murder. And just because many people do not believe that doesn't mean it's not murder. Just like what happened with some of the dark history of America, with slave ownership. Many people believe that it was not wrong, that it did not go against human dignity, that it was not racist to own slaves. But that is very clearly wrong. And so just like we look back and we think about those people who supported racism and slavery and think, how could anybody have supported that? People will in the future look back on those in this generation who support abortion and think of them in a very similar way that we think about the people who supported racism and slavery back then. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says, since the first century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every procured abortion. The teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. That's why those of us who know and believe that abortion is evil should do all that we can to speak up and make sure that it ends. And then the Catechism continues in the next paragraph. The inalienable right to life of every innocent human individual is a constitutive element of a civil society and its legislation. Brothers and sisters, this is a very important election, one of the most important ever for the rights of the unborn. There are no perfect candidates, there never are, but we at least have the duty to elect people who will uphold the sacred right to life and who will fight to protect the most innocent and vulnerable among us, the unborn children.